Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. I am super excited to have you guys here with me today. It is another awesome Sunday morning, and we are here to absolutely crush it. What's going on, all my future millionaires? How's it going? Hope you guys had a fantastic week. I had a great time hanging out with my good buddy Dion. And just just kind of we hung out for like 2.5 hours and basically just recorded it. It was kind of funny. It kind of was a conversation minus the questions. It was kind of like a conversation we have when we usually just like hang out via like a Zoom or whatever. So super excited to be here with you guys. I want to, so we are going to cover, crash, crisis, collapse, hyperinflation, all the crazy. Is that all? Just wanted to really take the time to thank everybody that signed up for the course. It was a wildly successful launch. I appreciate you guys so much, and man, I'm going to help you guys absolutely dominate. It is going to be an awesome 2023, and it's really about skilling up and being able to step up and really know and have conviction with what you're doing because you know stuff cold. There's 1,000 different ways to buy houses, and I want to make sure that you guys are ready to manage them. You got to buy it, and that's why I named the course, "Oh shit, I'm a landlord, now what?" Because that's exactly how I felt. So maybe you guys didn't feel the same. Maybe you guys all skilled up a whole lot more than I did, but I didn't. But I'm just super excited to be with you guys. I'm so excited for the awesomeness that course and the boot camp is going to be. I'm just super excited and honored that you guys will let me be a part of your journey. So we're going to just do some awesome and amazing things. Talking about housing crisis, collapse, hyperinflation. So just because I like to torture myself, I actually went back. I went back on a bunch of other YouTubers and I just said, what are they talking about 4 months ago, 3 months ago, 6 months ago, 9 months ago? What were they talking that long ago? And it was devastation, collapse, the world's coming apart, everything's falling to pieces. What will we ever do? Do you feel like that now? Do you feel like that today? I think one of the things that most of these crashers don't understand is that everything takes time. And what is it that you're watching the video for, right? Are you watching it because they're giving you advice on how to prepare? Like store up on food. Like that's what I love about Simon, Uneducated Economist. He's actually saying, hey, I think there's going to be food shortages. Here's how it is. Hey, I think there's going to be eventually lumber's going to spike in price because a bunch of mill curtailments. Hey, so if you're doing that, that's probably what you want to do. So I'm all about people talking about what it is, giving some sort of a time frame and connotation to it that people then can actually have actionable information. I see far more emails from people that are upset that they missed out than I ever did from anybody that regretted buying. But I think it's because maybe people were buying for the wrong reasons. They had a fear of missing out on what all their other friends were doing. And, oh, I got to buy a house, and thus creates a frenzy. If you guys ever have time, I'm not going to cover it in today's video because quite frankly, it's like watching paint dry, but it is an absolutely phenomenal story. Just give it like 10 minutes. Not here, but go check out Tulip Mania. Go check out Tulip Mania, and you'll find out that when something actually really has no value, crypto, I'm teasing, relax. I think blockchain is phenomenal technology, but there's going to be a lot more dead crypto coins out there and a lot more dead crypto exchanges in the next few months. And if you want to ask how it compares to real estate, I mean, none of my real estate's down 90%. And none of my real estate went out of business. And in fact, all my rents, still up. So when everybody wants to talk about crisis, crash, collapse, hyperinflation, it's not to say that we want to ignore some of the signs. It's not to say that, but it is to say that we need to take them into the whole equation and understand everything about the equation. All the yield curve inversions are pretty damn ominous, but an ebbing tide lowers all boats. Agreed. So obviously, what Hyder's talking about there. Sorry, Hyder, you caught my eye. Always good to have you here, my man. And we are going to get together this week. Work's going to be slow because it's the week before Christmas. But I think the crazy thing is, as we look at this, right, and as we look at yield curve inversions as an example is where the 2-year, i.e. short-term debt, is more expensive than 10-year debt, i.e. typically what mortgages are tied to, because that's what they tie. That's the market that mortgages get priced to. So when you see 2-year debt more expensive than 10-year debt, that's basically someone saying, hey, listen, over the longer term, no, if you want money short term, you're going to pay a lot more money for it. Usually that's not the way that it goes. So anyway, I digress. I'm not an economist. We leave that to the Mike Zubers of the world and the uneducated economists. Those guys are great economists. They're great at what they do, whether trained or not. But I can tell you from a housing perspective, I got to be honest, it just doesn't impact my deals. It really doesn't. On a daily basis, people need to eat, have water, and have shelter, period. If unemployment goes to 10%, does that mean 50% of people can't pay their rent? No. If it goes to 10%, it means 10 or 15% of people can't pay their rent because there were already the portion that weren't paying anyway. So everybody, when you look at some of these crazy crash videos, I would just encourage you, take it all into account. Really understand how it kind of fits into play. Excuse me, I got a message and I just want to make sure it's not urgent. It's not urgent. We fixed the problem. It was an electrical issue, but it was an electrical issue that was very easy to fix, thank God. So real estate, largely speaking, again, at the end of the day, because it's a necessity, it's not TVs. It's not all of these other things that are temporary, vacations, travel. It's not any of those things. I expect all those like to have and nice to haves. I expect them all to go down a lot. I expect us to go into a recession. Depending on who you want to ask, they say that the 2 months before this last month wasn't a recession. Listen, the general term of recession means that GDP is down. The actual term of recession means that jobs are down, which they weren't, and GDP is down. There's 4 total factors, but again, not the economist, not going to spend any time on that. So I think that everybody, the more skilled up you are, the more you know about your market, what's going on in your market. Here's the thing. There's going to be markets that correct or crash 30%. There's that point now because the Open Doors of the world, the Lennars of the world, home builders are going to cash out of stuff. But I'm telling you, there are hundreds of billions of dollars sitting on the sidelines, hundreds of billions sitting on the sidelines, ready to buy deals. It's just that simple. So you're not unique if you're sitting on the sidelines, and likely you're not nearly as qualified as the other people. What you really need to know is you really need to know how that fits into your market, what that means to you, your market, where you're doing business. Because if you have 7 economic drivers in your area, like student housing and like Dion with Boeing and Amazon there, I mean, we have massive insurance companies and we have the shipyard. You know, we have all of these major employers around us, even though we're small towns. They pull a lot of people from those areas. Sig Sauer, one of the biggest gun makers in the world, is here. And continues to grow. So we have a really healthy local economy, and that will continue to make rent strong and largely housing strong. If you have a below median house, it doesn't last on the market. Most of the homes in this area that are sitting are the more expensive ones. So I hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic day, and we're going to just jump in and say hi to everybody, and let's let the questions fly. But yeah, that's my take on it. I think that far too often people and hosts of shows have to talk about the national perspective. Warning, foreclosure, total collapse. It's to get you to click, and you fell for it. It's just not that way. It really just isn't. It's taking the data in, absorbing it, understanding how it impacts you or your local economy. Does it impact jobs in your local economy? Does it mean that 3 out of the 5 biggest companies are going to pull out? All of these different things that transpire, yes, they are important. However, they need to be, they have to be all of the items taken into context as to how it fits in. Anyway, that's my take on it. Everyone asks me why so calm when it's going to be a major, crash in housing. I said, because you know less than I do. And I've been doing this for 22 years. And I promise you the Great Recession, way, way worse. All-nighter hider, Jeff Loyal as always. I'm sure Jeff is somewhere in the chat here. Ashley A, love spending my Sundays with y'all. Ashley, we love having you because you're doing the work and you want to be a millionaire. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's all how we do it and making sure that we're doing it the right way and making sure we're doing it in a sustainable way. Because I tell you, there's a whole lot of crypto millionaires that have disappeared. 50% of the comments on my videos used to be about crypto and how I was an idiot. It's really quiet. It's really quiet. Phil Nealon, good morning. Alyssa, good morning. Anna K, good morning. Cassidy, good morning. Still one of my favorite jokes that I tell people all the time is how I thought for the longest time, because Cassidy kept on talking about how they were having a baby. And then I find out Cassidy is a he. And it's because he was talking about the family unit having a baby. Still one of my favorite stories. I crack up every time. Paula M. Silva, good morning, Matt and everyone. Good morning. Rosie Goodwin, good morning. Matthew Ellis, good morning. Dishes every day, checking in. That's UE's amazing wife, who I think did an amazing thing, actually doing the dishes and actually filming it to chill. I just love it. I love innovation, guys. Financial Firefighter, aloha from Hawaii. Roldan Crespo, good morning. Roldan, thank you very much for sending that to me. That was very helpful for my friend. Matt Bittner, good morning. Let's see. All-nighter hider. Yep. Yokerd honest. Yep. Dishes in the house. There's hider. Michelle Meyer, good morning, Michelle. Real estate is not any more dangerous than any other sector. Yep. I see RE more buffered than most other sectors. It is. Jeff M, what's up, Sunday morning fam? Good to have you, my man. Good to have you. Jeff is back. There you go. I know. First comment disappeared. It was maybe just a magical comment because I see that they're not sure where it went. SIG firearms are nice. They are very nice. And they're very nice. Yeah. They have one of the most amazing world-class ranges. It's just nothing short of spectacular. Nothing short of spectacular. Nick Ragland Johnson, good morning. Nick, I don't think you've ever made a comment before, but I'm super pumped to have you here. I hope you ask some questions because this is all about learning and having conversation, just good old discourse. Phil Nealon, thanks for the Sunday show. Excited for the course. Phil, man, this boot camp, because I know you're in the boot camp, this is going to be awesome. I am so freaking pumped for the boot camp because literally, so we've got the course and the course is amazing, stands on its own. But the boot camp is a chance where I get to hang out with you guys for an hour. You guys watch the module. We get to hang for an hour. I totally dig it. Because we're going to get to talk back and forth. You're going to get to hear what other people are saying in the group. This is going to be, it's live and it's interactive, that boot camp. That boot camp is not recorded. Obviously the course has to be, but the boot camp is not. The boot camp is live in person live in person on video chat, but it's dynamic. It's interactive. And guys, the extras that I have for you, I reached out to my entire network. I have experts that are going to also show up for these boot camps, like 25-year veterans in insurance that actually only work with landlords, like an eviction attorney, like, I can't talk about that one yet. That one's a surprise. A roofing company, right? We're also afraid when we get that quote from a roofer. Understand the things that you need to be looking for in the quote. Guys, the boot camp is going to be absolutely freaking epic. It's going to be absolutely epic. Let's see. So Phil, yeah, I'm so pumped. Theta Hedge, what's up? All right, Theta Hedge. I think YouTube was twitching out. Yeah, probably. Kenny A, good morning, Kenny. Jeff, haha, probably. Yeah, I know, right. What's the deal with like notifications recently? They're garbage. Adam Calhoun, good morning, good morning, good morning. The Yoder, what's up? Peter Navarro, good morning. Robert Fairley, hello, Matt, on the road, but we'll still be listening. Appreciate you, Robert. Robert's in one of the boot camps as well. Guys, I'm telling you, this boot camp is going to be awesome. It's going to, dude, guys, it's going to be so freaking cool. The course is spectacular. Like, it's basically, the course is like about, I can't remember exactly. It's between like 4.5 and 6 hours. But the boot camps, ugh, that's where we get to talk about the course. We get to get input on that. We're actually doing, for people that are in the boot camp, they actually get to give feedback on what they want the 12th session to be. So if you guys have something where you're like, yeah, we really want to learn about this. If I have expertise in it, I will do it. If I don't, I'll bring an expert, because I guarantee I have them in my network. And don't ask me for a superstar name, because I really focus on guys that are doing the work daily, not ones that are just putting their names on stuff. So when we bring like a roofer guy, I'm bringing you guys who's got 20 years experience, 25 years experience being a roofer. He runs his own roofing company and siding company. He has massive crews. He knows all about materials. He knows all about application of those materials, cost wise. He literally broke it down and he goes, listen, if you're a contracting company that I'm working with, you have this price. If you are a retail customer, you have this price. If you're an insurance company, you have this price, because I know that there's a ton more work that I have to do in order to get that done. But that's all stuff that we're going to be sharing in that course, that is only going to be in that course, because that's just the way I think it should be. Matt Bittner, all-nighter. YouTube was toying with QTR podcasts after Chris interviewed a doctor about the medicine and beer flu. Nice. Alec Lillibridge, top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you as well, sir. Let's see. Where do we get more information about the course? There is Adam, great question. There is a video I did yesterday. It is all about the course. It is literally 16 minutes of the course. That's everything there. I go right through the syllabus. Guys, make sure when you're looking at the link that you click in there, make sure you're clicking the plus button. That shows you the sub modules that are in those core modules. Those are the items that we're talking about in that module. So make sure that you're hitting that plus button so you see the topics within that point. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be absolutely epic. Laura Samaniego, good morning, everybody. Robert Fernelli, question before I get back to driving. I saw you did an oil to gas conversion and painted cabinets. Yep. What made you do that instead of replacing the cabinets or putting in an IBC? Robert, that is a phenomenal question. And these are the types of things that we're here to talk about. Here is why I did that. The cabinet painting, they were beautiful old wood cabinets, and they really just needed to be basically sanded and painted and made to look beautiful again. I would do a conversion in a kitchen there. The issue is right now with timelines and timeframes, supply chain issues. When it's all said and done, it was going to take me 8 weeks to probably do that kitchen where I normally could do it in 2. So I was able to paint it and get the entire thing professionally redone. HVLP, that's something we will be covering in the course, but we were able to get those painted in 2 days, and that thing is on the market and going to be rented. I don't lose 2 months rent at $1,600 a month, so $3,200. And I was able to get them painted for $900 because the guy knows what he's doing. So he's like, yeah, I'll have those things done in 2 days. $900 completely done, start to finish, including materials. That's how Lumberjacks. Well, that's how Lumberjack landlords actually. And so massive time savings, massive dollar savings. And you saw the picture, it still look really good. It doesn't look as beautiful as a new kitchen, but then I would also have to mark up the price too, because my kitchens right now, all in, including installation, product, and granite, are costing right around $6,000, $7,000. So it would have been $5,000 or $6,000 more money. I would have lost $3,000 in rents at least. So I was looking at it basically saying, I'm going to basically spend $9,000 to $10,000 more. Hopefully the supply chain issues aren't as bad as I've been seeing. But $9,000 more, and worse than the $9,000 more is the recovery on that was only going to be about $150 a month. I was only going to get 150 more for a brand new kitchen. Because that starts to max out in that neighborhood. So if I'm 150 more, I'm $1,800 a year. It's going to take me 5 years plus to pay off that kitchen. Yeah. Inventory's too tight right now to take inventory off the market just to make it prettier. But that's why I did that. As far as what is an IBC? Laura, I'm going to help you. What's an IBC? Sorry, I saw it pop up. I'm going to make sure to get there. So Laura, an IBC is a manufacturer that makes boilers, and they make on-demand hot water heaters. They are made and designed in Canada, and Canada has much harsher winters than we do. The standard, the engineering that has gone into these machines is nothing short of spectacular. And here's the thing, guys, my commitment to you, I'm not showing any product that I don't use. And I've got 29 of these things deployed to the tune of, real quick, an install on that. If it's an existing forced hot water system, it's $10,000. If it's not an existing forced hot water system, it's more like 17. Think about that, 29 times, right? 10 to 17, call it an average of 13 or 14. Yeah, I've spent about $400,000 on implementing these systems in the last 4 or 5 years, but they are spectacular. And I've never had a system in the last 6 years since I started implementing these. I've never had a system down for more than 3 hours. Never, because they actually engineer them properly. They have the parts there and available, and it's as simple as popping out one and putting in another. It's literally that simple. So pretty powerful stuff. Give me just 1 second here. To my good buddy, Millennial Mike, I know you're sick. I know you're under the weather. I feel better, pal. I appreciate you. So IBC, I spent a ton of money on those. They're forced hot water systems, boilers, but they do on-demand hot water, which means you never run out because of how it heats it with a coil inside. And guess what? I got the rep. I got the rep for the product. Going to be in one of the boot camps. It's going to be awesome. Guys, people that come out of that boot camp are going to be freaking elite. They're going to be elite. They're going to know product. They're going to know process. They're going to know design, like Landlord up, dudes. It's going to be awesome. I know I'm such a 7-year-old right now. I just so excited for it. But that's what an IBC is. And there's limited room in the boot camp. We're limiting it only to, I think, either 20 or 25 people, because I want to make sure that when we get our time together after you've watched the module, that we answer all the questions about the module and we get you prepped for the next module. This is about outcomes on the other side, guys. This isn't about taking a happy hunky-dory course and we're not checking in and talking about stuff. We're going to be talking about stuff. And then you have that peer group on the platform. I haven't announced what the platform is yet. It is not a well-known platform. It is specifically a teaching platform, and it's not teachable. It's much better. More expensive, but much better. That's what I wanted the experience for you guys. And so that's why we did the IBC. So we didn't do the IBC to finish the question, Robert. We didn't do the IBC because we didn't have actual access to natural gas there. So we couldn't get natural gas. So our only option was oil or propane. Propane in that area is really expensive. And I don't want the bottles on the outside of the house because there was no real good place to put them. And so we went with a conversion burner. Oh, excuse me. Why did we go the conversion burner? Sorry, I was thinking about another property. We went conversion burner on that location because the boiler was only 4 years old. It was a house I bought. That was the boiler in place. They had just replaced it. So it's only 4 years old. I'm not spending 10 or 11,000 bucks to yank out another boiler. And it was going to be a much bigger conversion because it actually feeds 3 units and it's one pipe steam. So man, if you don't know what all those terms meant, you need to be in a boot camp. Yeah, Matt, I did go to Spotify and listen last night. It was another good episode of QTR. Cool. Jeff M, what do you think of sump pumps to fix water issues? I like them. Any recommendations in process of the purchasing process and someone to install it? It's not a big deal, in all honesty. We have sump pumps here a lot because in New England, you're very hilly like this. Probably should have done it that way. But you're very hilly. And so when you're actually pretty hilly, what ends up happening is you can have bigger hills where you're at the bottom of the hill. And so all the water runs down the street and it can run from the backyard too. And that basically the first thing it encounters, water is magnificent and terrifying all at once. It's amazing. It will always find the weak link. And sometimes it will create the weak link. So we have a number of basements that have what we call hard piped pumps. And sorry, that was Mike answering me back. So we have a bunch of hard piped pumps. That is unbelievably boring to talk about. But it will be in the boot camp because it's one of those things that we talk about. We'll talk about the boring stuff that, guys, is going to make you stand out. There is no doubt in my mind that it will save you thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in mistakes. And so, yes, to fix water issues. Yeah. The more expensive option is digging out the basement and then getting the basement waterproofed. That can be really expensive. That can be $8,000, $10,000, $12,000. And a lot of times, sometimes it doesn't always fix the problem. Most of the time it does, but not all the time. And especially in New England, where we have old stone foundation, it's really difficult, but that's for what it's worth. REI Stoners, good morning. Jeff M, I'm in the Midwest, very swampy here. Yeah, I'm close to the ocean. So we're like 7 miles from the ocean. So water can be an issue here for sure. But the big thing for us is snow melt. Snow melt's the big issue for us. You should see rivers absolutely raging. Actually, you know what? I'll probably post one on my Instagram. Lumberjack Landlord. I'll post one this afternoon. I'll post an actual raging river from 2 years ago. Snow melt. It was nuts. Robert Farinelli, I can't wait for the course. The hype is real. Robert, you have no idea, man. No idea. That's why I want to keep the classes small, is because we can sit there and we can go off on a tangent for 10 minutes talking about the application of sump pumps, the application of insulation, the application of strapping a ceiling so you don't have noise conduction, like all of this stuff. And the key is, let's just say you're not doing the work yourself. Okay, don't do the work yourself. You need to know what your contractor's doing and how they're doing it. All right. Peter Navarro, is the boot camp recommended for everyone, even for people not actively looking for rentals? Only asking since I'm 2 years from that goal. So one of the things is, I would say the boot camp is probably not relevant to you. If you're 2 years out, I don't think it's relevant to you. No, I think what's really most relevant to you is going to be the course. If you have that down cold, you'll have everything in place for the day you buy a property. You will be ready to manage and not have to make stuff up on the fly like I did and then fine tune it over years. Guys, the first 5 years of my journey sucked. They sucked. They were horrible. They were awful. I had 50% of my evictions in the first 6 years I did landlording. 50%. So since 2009, I don't know the exact dates, but 09, 2010. So in the last 12 years, I've done 4 evictions in 12 years with a pretty big unit count. That's big. That's big. All right, listeners, are you still answering questions for people who can't afford the course? Yes, of course. We're still going to do this. Nothing changes on Sunday. Nothing changes on Sunday. We're still doing live streams every Sunday, 90 minutes. I'm still here to answer your questions. What the course is for is to skill up. That's so if you're brand new and you want to go into it with all your processes that are proven in place, that's what it's there for. If you're a smaller landlord trying to grow and you're just like, you feel like, man, I've got 2 now or 3 now, and I feel like there's a lot I still don't know, and I feel like I'm still kind of struggling with process, and I don't know how I'm ever going to manage 10 if I can barely manage 2 or 3. It's to help that, because that's the same wall that I hit. where I went in and I just said, these are all the things I need to fix and adjust. So it allows me a lot more time to really truly grow. And then it's for the, the good landlords that have 10, 20, 25, 30 units that are saying, man, if I'm going to get to that next level, I need to skill up in a lot of these process areas, better understand how to manage and operate my business, know how to talk to banks because I can't get a 1 in 10 Fannie Freddie loan anymore. Really talks a lot about that stuff. So yeah, I think it's going to be, but I'm still here 90 minutes every Sunday. Rosie Goodwin. Hey, Rosie, any wisdom on HVAC? Need to put new furnace and AC in for 900 square foot single family rental. What I would tell you is I would get 3 quotes. Depending on the market that you're in, I would look at mini splits, but it really depends on the market that you're in. I would have them quote both. Do you already have an existing HVAC system? Let me know. Paula M. Silva, my first question. Cool. I need to replace the flooring on one of my rentals. Any advice on good flooring? So American Flooring Corporation, I haven't bought anything from them in about 6 months because I bought 10,000 square feet last time I placed an order. And if you're doing some quick math, it was about 30 grand. It was a lot. It was like 20 to 30,000 bucks because we bought 2 different products. So I would tell you to go look at that, check that stuff out for sure. But yeah, American Flooring Corporation, you can call them, you can ask them for samples. I like, me personally, it's a little bit more expensive, but I like the commercial grade products that you use in a residential application. It doubles the warranty. If it's a commercial product using a commercial application, you get 15 years. If it's a commercial product used in a residential application, you get a 30-year warranty. So their LVP products are really good. I actually had it. I'm trying to find, I had an amazing box of samples. I actually probably have to call them and get new samples. Let's see. KS, gas in the paint. More reference. Maybe I said something dumb. It's quite possible. Oh man, whoa, wow. Look at all that. All right, here we go. Gas in the paint. Yeah, those were 2 different questions. Yes. Yeah. Okay. I was like, what am I saying right now? Clint Leclerc. Hey, Clint, good to have you. I was apprehensive about the cost of the course, but the management savings and retention of being a real estate professional for the IRS, accelerated depreciation, make it probably my highest returning investment. Clint, I appreciate that. And you're not wrong. Clint, there is no doubt in my mind that with the tools that I teach in that boot camp and in the course at its core, but then the boot camp and additional, just put the cherry on top. There's no doubt in my mind, even on that one purchase that you're looking at, it's going to probably pay for itself 6 times over. Oh, and tell me if you got the email that I sent you and just yes or no if it was helpful. All-nighter hider, great perspective, Clint. I see you think past just surface layers. Yeah, I'm excited to have Clint in the course. I really am. Saw the boot camp number being 25 people. Yep, it's limited. It's over, boys. Nobody needs rental homes anymore. Pack it up. It's awesome. Yep. Well, until builders can instantly make about, I don't know, 30 million units appear, I think I'll be okay. But I also have tinfoil in my drawer for my tinfoil hat. George Gammon. I like George a lot. I think George is super smart too. I think he's great. There's a lot of stuff. I'd say I agree with a lot of what he says. Not everything, but a lot. Rosie Goodwin, Paula Silva. I've used resistant LVP. That's awesome. I love that feedback. Yes, I use waterproof LVP. Let's see. T. Hey everyone. Hey T. Good to have you here. The homeless do seem to have more freedom from a tyrannical state. It's true. It's true. Bathrooms become difficult. So do showers. Rosie Goodwin in my rentals, and they do well over the years. They do. George is such a good dude. I believe you. I would love to meet George. I think George is, I really like George. I obviously spent time with Simon, the Uneducated Economist. I think Simon's great, but I watch a lot of those guys. I'd say the one I watch the most is probably Simon, and probably the guy that I watch the second most is George. So I like George a lot. I think he's a super smart. I think he's a great dude. And I think he does a really good job of showing scenario and doing scenario analysis, which is so devoid in most of YouTube. Let's see. Laura Semenigo, Matt, thanks so much for explaining to me. You're welcome. I love this community. I don't feel afraid asking a question, but that reveals my lack of knowledge and been laughed at. No, there's no laughing at here because somebody doesn't know something. Guys, I used to pay $90 an hour to get laughed at. When I would call a contractor and they would, this is why I want to do this, because they could have told me, oh yeah, no, you definitely use bubble wrap on the roof. Absolutely. It makes it, gives the snow a cushion. Like at that point, I would have believed that. And I really feel bad. I was raised by a single mom. My mom having to get work done on the house, dude, you could totally tell that a lot of those contractors coming in that door, they knew that it was a single woman. They knew that they could pump the price. I want to prepare people to understand what stuff costs. And a lot of stuff that's local in markets, but if I can give you 3 or 4 questions to ask a contractor, that means that he knows that you know what's up. And most contractors won't take the risk of pumping something up on somebody that knows the answer to these questions. And it's different for every contractor. It's different for the roofing guy. It's different for the siding guy. It's different for the window guy. It's different for all these guys. And when I say guys, you know what I mean? The companies. So that's one of the things that's really important for me is helping you guys skill up, having those conversations with contractors. Many are honest, significant numbers are not. And if you're in the wrong scenario, you can get really crushed. Real quickly, I was working with somebody, they had gotten a quote for their roof for $30,000. And I kind of like looked at it and I was like, that's not a $30,000 roof. It's just not. And I said, she goes, well, what do you think? And I go, 18 to 20, maybe. She's like, no, she's like, we were high 20s, low 30s. No, it's not that much. Just isn't. So I sent it to the roofer guy, my guy, who has been my guy only for 2 years. Cause I had a few other roofers too. I had some that were with me for 6 and 8 years. I had some that were with me for only a couple. Talk to him and I go, hey, I don't think this is the right number. And we roll through it and he's like, no, I don't think so either. I think you're probably right. He goes, I think it's probably about 20. And I was like, really? He goes, yeah, you're probably low 20s. I was like, okay, just a conversation, because I wasn't going to shame her that she didn't know. And she wasn't too embarrassed to say something. Saved her probably $8,000, $9,000. I'm telling you. You guys got to skill up in this regard, and I'll teach you how to do it. Let's see. And Laura, you're very welcome. No one should ever feel embarrassed to ask any question here. Well, almost any question here. If you ask a stupid question, like a legitimately stupid question. So there are such things as dumb questions. Has anyone sealed the concrete on a slap home when replacing flooring? My thoughts are it could help, and with pet smell absorption over the years, good idea or bad idea? So King, I've done that on a couple of places. They do make, it wasn't a clear product. It was a white product, but I did use that product. And then I could also then use, but then you have to use a mat or the underlayment. And that can be like a, like felt pad, but it's not, but they make different underlayments based on the application of where you're applying it. So typically I would put that product on, then I would put the matting underneath it, and then I would do install on top of that. That's typically what I've done. Oh, saw a super chat. I'm just going to scroll down for the, oh, there he is. There's my boy. Congrats on the pre-orders, big dog. You're going to help so many people. There will be no way to absorb all the info drinking from a fire hose. Thanks, Mike. Feel better, pal. Yeah, I felt bad. Some nights when Mike was like, all right, I got to go to bed. I was like, oh, I think he hit tilt on the the information train. So yeah, King Cardano, let me know if that helps. let's see. Paul M. Silver, good to know. That's good. Good sharing, guys. Keith Hager. How do French drains work, and what contractor would you call to build one? Landscaping company. I would call a landscaping company. Man, Keith, that is such a boring topic. Basically, what you do is you create a it's to bring water away from your foundation. So the key is where the inlet hose or where the outlet hose actually goes. You'll see sometimes in a lot of like nicer, newer construction, the drain spouts come into the ground. Well, they're not going into the ground. They're actually going into a French drain that's then taking that water somewhere. The same exact thing with the concept of the French drain. French drain basically allows you to more aptly direct water away from your foundation. And yeah, it's what's usually called 3/4 washed. So it's usually 3/4 inch stone. It's washed down first because you don't want all the stone sediment coming into play. And then you have a pipe that's perforated, but also has a screen on it. What it does is it takes flow of water away and it drastically reduces its speed, but then you can also direct it and channel it where you want the water to go. As a fellow Phil Nealon, as a fellow Siberian, have any advice on ice damming besides shoveling the 5-foot drifts on the roof and chipping a channel through the ice? Yeah, so I don't know. You guys have really extreme temperatures, Phil's in Alaska. The advice that I would give you that I've done before, because we get those same things here. Really, the thing that I've seen that's worked really well is either the bottom row being metal. So you don't actually get that ice buildup, number one, because nothing's sitting there. Number two is you see the rope systems or the electrified rope systems, they actually conduct heat. If you do those and they're done in like this loopy shape on a roof, I've done a bunch of those in areas where you didn't have proper insulation or you had too much of an overhang where you're actually getting an ice dam. So I've done that too. So I would, and you can get the Frost King actually makes that product. And I've put in a number of those on roofs. I've also bought some buildings that had the metal. The first 2 feet was metal. Underneath it you have to make sure it's ice and like a Grace ice and water shield. But yeah, that next thing is pretty sick. Give me just 1 second. We have a showing out in the field today. Some people, I tell you, so funny. That was my agent. She's doing showings today because rental units are so hard to rent. You know what? I just rented out a unit that was rented out in 2020. That's when it was rented out. It was rented out for $2,000 and I just rented out for $2,900. Rent crash. Nicholas Massey. Hey, Lumberjack. I have a tenant smoking hookah outside of the rental. Okay. Always pays on time and never bothers me. So I'm hesitant to rock the boat on the no smoking in or on the property. What should I do? That's a dealer's choice on that one. Yeah, it's a dealer's choice on that one. If they become a problem, that's one of the things that I use that I cite. If you don't want to upset the apple cart. I mean, again, if it's outside, like I don't have a problem with people smoking outside. I know that their inside of the unit might smell more than nothing, but it usually doesn't smell. It's not something that can't be gotten rid of. So that's really a dealer's choice. I've sent a warning notice over it and I've also completely let it slide. So no consistency there on that one. Just because one tenant was just amazing and spectacular and was never a problem. And literally it was something I had just seen when I was driving by, because everything that I own is where I live. And I just don't care. Another person, I was getting complaints from the neighbors and issues from that. And I had to say something. I had to post it. Alyssa M. This course is right up my alley. Excuse me. I just need a little time to save up for it. When you're done with the 25, will you be doing another round with another group? Yes. Yep. Yep. The idea is we're going to run, we're going to talk to the people in the boot camp and we're going to say, do you guys want to go double fast? I.e., do you guys want to do 2 a week? Or do you want the course to last 12 weeks? It's entirely up to you. You get access to all of the course day one. The boot camps are the things that are done either weekly or twice weekly. And I'm really going to leave that to the students where we get to, on the introductory call, we get to decide that together if they want to go super fast. King Cardano, have you ever had a tenant stay for a year and do more damage to the unit than you collected for rent in a year? What's your recourse if something like that happens? More than 24,000. Yeah, because a lot of our units are, so we have stuff that ranges between 1,000 and 3,000. A majority of our stuff is kind of in the 1,500 to 2,500 range. I have never, no, I've had them never more than a year. No. So I've had on I think the closest on that King would be probably $10,000. I'd say $10,000. But they paid 14,000 a year in rent. And I'm suing them. It's cool. I'll sue you. I've met me, seen me do it. But the other thing too is that I also completely upgraded the unit. Like instead of replacing old broken cabinets, I put in new ones. Instead of replacing the shower surround, I did tile. Instead of trying to fix the carpet, I replaced it with LVP. Instead of trying to fix the windows, I put in brand new ones. And so, yeah, so I've had that happen. It's actually a video on my channel. There's the befores there. It was about a 1.5 minute long video. It was the day that I was literally walking past the sheriff going up into the unit while he hung out to wait. But I was going up in the unit, literally recording it just to check it out and see what I was left with. Yeah. Matt Bittner, Mitsubishi would be my first choice if I was forced to use a mini split. Yeah, they're pretty good product. They're doing studies now for colder temp areas because used to be like anything less than like 25 degrees, you have a problem keeping a place to heat. Now they make ones that are around sub-zero or around zero. But they need to be ones that go to like -20, -30 because wind chills can take you there. And that's the wind chills what robs your house of the heat. My Serenity watching from Jamaica. All right, cool. Happy to have you. Thatch recommends buying 4 rentals and paying them off and repeating the process over and over. What are your thoughts on that philosophy? I don't like it. I disagree. He also is a big flipper guy, loves to flip, and the flipping market's dead. Also likes to wholesale market's largely dead. So for me, yeah, I don't believe in paying off mortgages. I believe in levering debt safely. But yeah, I mean, if you're super risk averse and you only want to get to 4 and then just pay them off faster than normal, that's fine. But usually my idea is I want to pay them off depending on what the debt structure is, right? So if you include 2 extra mortgage payments a year, you can bring the years on a mortgage down to, I think it's 21.8 or 21.10, 21 years, 10 months if you pay 2 extra payments. And note that it goes right to the principal. The challenge that you have is that maybe you're that into it and you don't want to pay them off. Maybe you want to use that money to buy more. So it's good to leverage. I've leveraged most of my assets 70% loan to value. That way, if the market goes down 20, I can still sell pay full boat. And yeah, then I still make good money. Hold on 1 second. Letting them know I'm live streaming. Man, busy day for my contractors. Holy Toledo. So yeah, so I don't love it, Nicholas. Don't love it. But that's one of those strategy things where regardless of how you bought it, regardless of what your pay down schedule is, you need to know how to manage it better. Create more income, create more margin when you understand how to properly manage the asset. That's the difference. People spend far too much money managing their asset because they don't know how to do it properly. Glover, hey, how's it going, everybody? Glover, it's going awesome. Alex Willowbridge, do you use municipal rebates when you upgrade to do a more efficient HVAC, water heaters, and or appliances? Yes, we have. So yeah, we've absolutely done that. But sometimes it's not available. So we do when it's available, but that's not the driving force behind us doing it. So if something needs to be replaced, we look and see what's available. So we make the best investment at that point. And based on what we're going to get for a return. So yep, we absolutely do. New Hampshire Saves is the name of our program. It actually last year, I think it was last year, it got defunded. There wasn't enough money coming in. So it literally, that program got defunded, and oh my goodness. Daniel Fiore, you're like Scotty Kilmer for houses. Dude, that's the ultimate compliment. I really appreciate that. I actually like Scotty because he's the man when it comes to cars and trucks. He's the man. So I appreciate you saying. There's some stuff certainly that I don't know, but I've got 22 years in this game. I've done a lot of the work myself with these ugly fat hands. I've done a lot of the work myself alongside other tradesmen. And when you ask me, you might see me twitch a little bit because I got PTSD about the situation you might be forcing me back into to give you an answer. But yeah, there's really nothing I haven't done. And I have to do it on old 170, 160, 150-year-old buildings. The rules are much harder for that. So when you guys talk about doing a house in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, oh my goodness, that's so much easier. And that's not a slight. That's it. You get to do different things, and it's easier to do other things than it is for the stuff that I'm having to work on, because I do some of that stuff too. But a lot of stuff is really old. And so I have to over-engineer it, which means I have to spend more money. But yeah, if you're in an older market, yeah, for sure. If you're in a market where the properties are newer, oh, it's so much nicer. Yeah, so much nicer. I appreciate that very much. That's quite the compliment, Daniel. Ryan Allen, hello. Hey, Lexi. What is the average cost of an IBC for on-demand hot water, natural gas? As far as install, Ryan? Yeah, let me know if you're talking install or you're talking using it. Cato Disc, first time landlord rented to her friend and they're not friends anymore. Okay. Tenant has stopped paying. Okay. What discount would you require to acquire this property, or would you? Cato, I want to answer that question, but I'm going to say awful things. It's the numbers. What you need to do is you need to contact an attorney. And so again, all of my information about this, there's a whole section on this in my course, on the network piece. You need to contact an attorney and say, make sure that they're an eviction attorney. Hey, how many evictions do you do? Oh, I probably do like 5 or 10 a year. Nope. How many evictions do you do? Oh, I probably do 40 a year. Yep. You're my guy or girl. And then I would ask them crazy number, give them the scenario as the consultation, right? And say, this is exactly the scenario. And then they would tell you, you know what? You're probably going to be 3,000 or 4,000 into me in fees, maybe 5. You might be 5 or 10,000 bucks into repairs on the place. If she goes absolutely mental, but if she does, you can go back and sue her. All of that sort of stuff, like having the dialogue out the situation, then just say, what's the crazy number if I had to evict this person and it took a long time? That attorney is probably going to tell you 4,000 or 5,000 bucks, depending on the state that you're in. In my state, that's the crazy number, 4 or 5 grand. Where they used every trick in the book, every appeal, every white noise, every just They just did everything mean, wrong, and unkind. And that's how it happened. And so that eviction was about $5,000, $5,500 for me, I think was the final bill. But I got my unit back. And I also, the court got them to basically pay, I think, $3,000. So I'm negative a couple grand. The unit, not too trashed. It's not in nice shape, but it's kind of dumpy and dated, but I can do it. But what you want to do is, sorry, long road to get here, Cato. What you want to do is you want to just assess what that is, what that cost is going to be, and start to build it in. And then do a, BS TMR, a BS TMR. A BS TMR is this: bullshit to money ratio. How much of your time is it worth? But you might be able to get a deal, but there's no hard number. We're saying, yeah, I would take 10% off the price. I don't know. You might be $100,000 house. You might be a $500,000 house. You might be $1 million house. You might be a $4 million house where this person has a team of attorneys. Impossible to know, right? So that's where I'm saying, have the conversation with an attorney, get as much information from the seller as you possibly can, then have that conversation with the attorney. Do not bring the seller with you to the attorney, because maybe she finds out, oh, geez, it's only $5,000 at max to get this person out. There goes your deal. She might want to keep her property, especially if you're trying to lowball her with what you're trying to buy it for, right? So hopefully that helps. Brian, thank you very much, my friend, for the $2 super chat. Thoughts on Vegas? Any guess on when LV will bottom? Thoughts on Vegas? I'm going there. I'm taking a trip. When it will bottom, I don't know. I love the trend. I love that it's trending down. Especially because, I mean, here's the thing. A lot of people that lived in Vegas, crypto bros, right? Airbnb, what do they call those guys? Airbnb arbitragers. A lot of those guys in that market. And yeah, it was bad things, man. Bad things. And so I'm just watching the market. It only adds expense. So the difference of people are like, well, why would you wait? And you don't tell other people to wait. Because it's not going to be an income property for me, number one. Number two is it's an added expense. I can go to Vegas and I can stay in an MGM hotel for about $40 a night in most cases. So that's why the two major differences there. All right. So Cato disc, hopefully that answers it. All-nighter hider. Thanks, Mike. Hope you feel better. Electrolytes get you feeling better. Oh yeah, he's going to be on the electrolytes big time. Clint LeClaire got the email. Cool. Just read it. Cool. Was going to do a couple of those things. Cool. But I didn't even think about half. Guys, Clint, I appreciate the honesty. So Clint signed up for the course. He had an urgent need. I'm not a stickler. I wanted to help him. He's going and doing an inspection before the course is going to be live. So I said, look at these 10 things, please. You bought the course. It's going to be in the course. Don't share it, but check it out. These 10 things, make sure you do these 10 things. I appreciate your honesty, Clint. He said, but I didn't even think about half of what you put in there. Thanks for arming me up before the inspection. See you in boot camp. That's awesome, Clint. Dude. Oh, man. Tingles. Yeah, that could be a life-changing property, positively or negatively. I'm thinking about something else I want to put in the course. All right. Yeah. Okay. I think that might be, we'll workshop it. All-nighter. Great King. I wondered if the slab needs to breathe like stucco. I don't like locking in stucco with paint. Ashley A, brand of soundproofing underlayment for LVP on a second floor. Yes. I will, let's see. I'm gonna do this real time for you, Ashley. Hold on 1 second. I know, guys, this is horrible television. I get it. I just want to help out Ashley real quick. Let's see. Yeah. What's the deal? Man. Okay, here we go. Where is this stuff? So they, so there is a, so I've used this stuff. It's pretty good. Absorba Sound 5mm acoustical rubber underlayment for hard surface floors. I've used that before. I don't think I used that on, I don't think I used that on, I don't think I've used that on LVP. Let me just check here 1 second. Yep, that's the stuff. So you can try and find it online, but there's something called Dream Home Eco Silent Sound Underlayment. I've used that. That was pretty good product. And I've also used the Bellawood Platinum Premium Underlayment. Stuff's expensive. Look for a coupon. Look for a that stuff is all stuff. So one of the places that I'll buy supplies like that from is LL Flooring, used to be Lumber Liquidators. I buy some of that supply stuff from them. I've also bought it by the pallet from a distributor. So, but I've bought, those are all readily. So I was trying to think of the ones that are readily available to you. LL Flooring, Lumber Liquidators. But you can check them out. And then there's other places online where you can just check out and you just look for the soundproofing stuff. It depends on your application. But you can take a look at those, and those three will probably help you out. I use a all-nighter. I use that drain screen all the time. Just made a shotgun shell holder out of it last night. Nice. Rosie Goodwin, I have the same question. Well, perfect. 2 birds, 1 stone. Laura Samanigo, my AC guy just told me that you pay a lot of money for the Mitsubishi mini split. Name that Daikin are just as good. He also said they manufacture in the same place. Your thoughts? I have Daikins at my house. My personal house. I have Daikins. I have Daikins at my house. Yep. They're good. I've never had an issue with it. Nope. Never had an issue with them. They've been great. J. Corey Alexander, can you go over financing a rental? Jay Corey, I absolutely can. Just give me more detail on what you mean by financing a rental. Laura, a lot of products are like that. Yep, same menu. Yep, different name. That's the nature of global productions. It so is. Laura Samaniego, I didn't renew the lease on the tenant that said she only smoked outside. There were, yep, complaints from neighbors too. Cost me over $1,000 to get rid of the cigarette smoke. She was there 2 years. Yeah, I've seen that before. Sure. T, do you do annual or biannual inspections? Probably annual. Some units were in more than others because they have an issue. They had a problem. They had a this, that, or that, or the other. If we are getting complaints on a unit, we will let them know, hey guys, in 24 to 48 hours, we have to stop in and make sure that we can verify that all of the smokes and COs are working. Yep. Millennial Mike, definitely not paying off mortgages in growth phase. Yep. Maybe when you're ready to retire so you can convert notes and seller finance out. Sure. Millennial Mike with the crazy comprehensive answer. I know, right? You really worded that well. I know, he nailed it. Well done. Flash of Light, Scotty Kilmer, Chris Fix, and Car Wizard are the three amigos for cars. Car Wizard, I dig. I really like, I really like Scotty Kilmer. Chris Fix, I haven't spent a whole lot of time on his channel. But Car Wizard, we are bearded brethren. Yes. Yes. Car Wizard, I like him. I'm really looking forward to working on properties I own rather than on other people's homes. All-nighter, I get it. Nicholas Massey, with your 70% leverage method, would you still leverage 70% number if no longer cash flows? No, nope. Nope. What if you have a larger cash savings? Nope. I still want that. I still want the asset to perform. So yeah, any of the stuff that I have with a 70% LTV, yeah, you guessed it. It all cash flows. It all cash flows nicely. In fact, I won't go to 70% if I can keep the return at 20%. So I want to keep the return on my capital at 20% in those deals. I want to keep that decent cash flow coming because I just do. I want the cash flow. I'm not looking about stacking cash. I've got plenty of cash stacked, but I've got it stacked from my cash flow. So great question, Nicholas, really is. Rob, ta-da, he's here. Hi, Rob. Thank God we can start now. I always feel so silly starting before Rob gets here. Let's see. All-nighter thanks from Laura. Right, Alan. Unit and install average running cost. Average running cost varies too greatly, so I can't give you that. I can tell you it's a 95% AFUE efficient system. If you don't know that, you should be in the, or if you don't know what that means, then you should be in the boot camp. And it is, if it's an existing forced hot water system with radiators already there, and you don't have to swap out the radiators, you're probably looking at a $8,000 to $10,000 swap. If you're looking at having to put in all the radiators and the heating system and bring in natural gas, then you're looking at, 16, 17,000 is my guess, right around there. Or not my guess, but that's what I paid for my last one. Yeah, it was like 17. It was like 17 and change, but there were a couple specific things that I wanted that were extra money. Yep. Question, was BSTMR thought up on the fly, or is that an established acronym? On the fly. On the fly. Yeah. I say to people the full thing often, because when my agent's like, oh, or when I have an agent tell me, oh, but you don't understand. Okay. You're going to make this much money. I was like, you don't understand that much money on that rental, on that property, I couldn't give two you-know-whats about. It's the BS TMR. It's the BS TMR. Man, we're gonna have to do a shirt like that. I still gotta do the one. I still gotta get the ones, the math works. And then I did find out what happened to all your guys' shirts. They're in the mail. They are in the mail tomorrow. For those of you who didn't get your shirts, which I am sincerely upset about, but it's been remedied. But yeah, BS TMR. Yep. That's an official phrase. I just heard Lumberjack doing a meetup in Las Vegas. I'm not doing a meetup in Las Vegas. I am taking my family on vacation. Brian, or if you don't know, want to speculate about bottom, what about the second half of 23? I think that through the course of the year, I think the year gets rougher. I think the only reason that I see things potentially maybe starting to recover in the end of 23 is if in fact the Fed finally has to pivot, but all these people thinking the Fed's going to pivot now are nuts. They're nuts. It's just complete hopium and wishful thinking. Yeah. Let's see. Rob, 30-second summary of what I missed. Okay, go. Want to be a millionaire. I've gotten there. We'll share my experiences on how I did. know that you can do it with processes and the things, take all the lessons that it cost me millions of dollars to learn, take those for much less money. Lots of people really excited about the course, amazing questions about LVP and heating systems, and a general respect for everyone here. I respect you guys, and I like doing this with you. And that's why this, it's just going to be awesome. It really is. Believe it or not, the thing I think about most is how do I keep a tight-knit community when we really start to explode with growth? Because that's what I care about. I'm not here for a bunch of posers. I'm here for you guys that want to do the work. You want to change your family's future, and you're making an investment in that. That's what I'm here for. Angelica P, I just pre-ordered the course. Awesome. Can't wait to learn and improve. I know that you will. I'm so excited that you guys, I'm so excited we're to do this. Church is over. I'm here. Brett, good to have you, man. Good to have you. Daniel Dockett. Hey, Matt, I signed up for the pre-course, but never received email confirmation. Daniel, that should be going out today. I did follow up with those guys this morning because I heard that twice. I assume other people didn't get it either. You will see something from lumberjacklandlord.com. You will see something. If not today, then tomorrow. It has been a known issue, but we did get everybody's, and you are getting something. If you don't, just reach out to me, lumberjacklandlord@gmail.com, lumberjacklandlord@gmail.com. Just reach out to me because I want to make sure that you get that. The good news is you're not going to miss anything for a couple weeks because we're going to have things kind of nailed down for the end of the year, of exact dates when everything's going to be kicking off, and doing that. So you're not going to miss anything, but I appreciate you saying that. Thank you for letting me know. Glover, do you pay for water usages on your rentals? Yes, most times. If so, do you have usage clauses in your lease agreement? I don't have usage clauses. Never really thought about it. We've never gotten a water bill that was oh my word, that was a tenant's fault. We've had pinhole leak in a basement pipe, and something that it was a basement that the tenant never went down in, and we got the letter from the city saying, hey, the water's not shut off in your property for 24 hours. And you're just like, oh, crap. So then you run around and you try and figure out where it's coming from. But yeah, never charged overage. What I have done with our corporate clients, because we do spend time with our corporate clients to make sure that they understand that they need to pay water sewer. Yep. So I charge them water sewer. Normal everyday people, I don't. So we do charge it in that particular case. Let's see. Clint T, my repairman for the properties we already have wears a GoPro on his hat when going to change furnace filters and all repair calls. Recording notice is in the lease to inspect every visit. That's really interesting, Clint. I never actually even thought about that. Huh. Interesting. Oof. I love it and I hate it all at the same time. Love it and hate it all at the same time, Clint. I got to be honest. Love it, but I do kind of love it. I also kind of hate it. But okay. It's going to take me a while to figure it out. Same here. Pre-order the course yesterday. I did. You did receive an email confirmation. Okay, cool. And if Investor if you meant you didn't, just let me know. Want to help you fix that. Keith Hager, my maintenance does inspections to change filters on HVAC and check batteries on smoke and fire detectors. Yep, absolutely. Christopher Leroy, I understand the smoke thing. However, what about the food smell using curry? Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's an answer for that. I just don't. I mean, you can notify them that you're choosing not to renew their lease, I think. There is, man, this is really boring, but I'll cover it. In most states, there is an enjoyment clause in the code for tenants. And so I actually have it in my lease where it actually cites the enjoyment code or the enjoyment statute. Hyder, where were you, buddy? You know that's a statute, not a code. And so I'm just teasing Hyder. But so I can tell you that they're state dependent, but that's what I would look at. I would look at the enjoyment piece. I don't know what the honest answer is. I'd have to ask my attorney. I don't know what the honest answer is there. Yeah, I don't know the honest answer. I've not had that issue before, but I'm going to ask it now. Brian, can we still sign up for the boot camp? Yep. Yeah, you can. Yeah, there's the discount still applies. So if you got the course and you didn't sign up for the boot camp, you can still get the discount and get signed up for the boot camp. It's available till Christmas, I think. Pallavi Patel. Good morning, all. Good morning, Pallavi. J. Corey Alexander. I have over 20% down for a payment for from a company buyout. Congratulations. That's awesome. We have a lot. We have a lot on a non-HOA home coal buy that are nice single family under 230K. I recently started my own company, but income is minimal. Okay. I guess my question is, how do you make the deal look good for the bank? Or are there any tricks to financing and rental? My debt to income is off due to starting my new company. Very green. Jay, Corey, really appreciate you sharing all that with me. That's exactly what I was hoping you were going to say, just because now I can give you a better answer. What I can tell you, excuse me, what I can tell you is it's a mortgage underwriting thing on the 2 years. That's what I can tell you is they want to see that your business is up and running for 2 years. It's profitable. Then they'll look at your financials, all of that stuff before they're going to give you a loan on something like that. The other options that you have are private lenders. They're usually more expensive. The other thing that you can do is a bank construction loan. But again, that you might be able to get that done on the commercial side of a bank, which, by the way, not to tout it again, but there's going to be a whole section on basically how I teach people how to go get loans out of banks. And it has to be a smaller bank for that plan to work. But I would talk about us. But yes, there's no really tricks around it. It's all about, maybe you can get a bank to do it commercially if you're trying to do a build. I don't think you can do them DSCR. So a DSCR loan is based on the asset, but they're not there to build. They're there to only take a performing asset. And then the other option is just private money. And private money, with where rates are for regular money now, if rates are regularly in the high 5s, low 6s, your private money could be 10% in all likelihood. There's no other workaround tricks that I would know, because of the requirement that's pretty stable. The one of the 2 years, the one thing that I would suggest that you do is start taking in a ton of mortgage content. Matt, the mortgage guy, fantastic resource. He talks a lot about mortgages and how they work. And that's going to be the thing that will really help you. If there's an asset that's available to a new business owner, minimal cash because you're starting the new company, he would know about it. I'm just not familiar with anything that's not out of those standards. Dion, talk financial freedom. Every time you hit the like button, an angel gets its wings. That's so true, Dion. Hope you're doing well, pal. Let's see. All-nighter. Dion in the house. Yes, he is. Robert Fernelli, I just paid $11K per IBC and oil to propane conversion. Yeah. So I was right. Yep. Yeah. So it's about like, and was the house already forced hot water? So it already had the short little 9-inch radiators on the floor. Let's see. Fed pause is way more likely than a pivot back to lower rates. Exactly. Hyder, it doesn't go like this and then like this. It goes like this and then the curve. Sorry, like this. I'm watching my own hand. So you're going up like this, and then they increase, but slower rate. Then they increase slower rate. Then they plateau, and then they plateau, and then they decide to take a dip. It doesn't go, oh, we missed it, stop raising. It's not like that. It just isn't. It isn't. Unless something world event changing happens, it isn't. It just isn't. That's not how it works. Ninja Vanish, how do we get to the course sign up? Ninja Vanish, video on the channel. Oh shit, I'm a landlord. Now what? Video, posted it yesterday. It's there and available to you. And make sure you see course plus boot camp, and then course plus boot camp with 3 hours of me. Guys, I have to put that on there because I want to make sure that if you really want to deep dive and dig in really hard, I wanted to make sure that that was available to you, but I knew I couldn't do what needed to be done in an hour. I know I need 3 hours with you. And that can be split up a couple, between a couple calls. But if we do that, we're going deal evaluation. We're doing whatever you want to do with that time, but it's usually deal evaluation. And it's also inspection. I know how to read inspection reports, and I can make sure that to translate some of that stuff for you guys too. But yeah, Ninja Vanish, it's right in that video. It's actually in the description right there where you can grab it. Oh, you didn't. Okay, Invest. Well, cool. Yeah, I think only one person got it. I think only one. So, and they haven't figured out what that is yet. So you guys should see those emails, like I said, today or tomorrow. I'm looking for case law now. Yep. Vegas with the boys. Yes. Yes. Price and Pride. Chris, sounds like you'd be crossing into a discrimination case. Yeah, that's what I think too. I've never dealt with it. Yeah, but it is. It's what it sounds like to me. It sounds dicey. Anna K, food for food smell. How about wiring a fan in the kitchen that turns on every time with the lights? I had roommates who cooked fish every day and Asian food with oils. I am Asian, so no offense. I appreciate how respectful you guys are. Yeah, not a big deal. I think that all of our differences are awesome. I really do. I'm a Ukrainian Englishman. What the what? Ukrainian Englishman. Yeah, I kid you not. It's the weirdest combination. Thanks, Mom and Dad. But literally, thanks, Mom and Dad. Let's see. Yeah, so they do make these things. So Anna, that's a great Anna, that's a great suggestion, Anna. So you can put a higher powered fan in that can actually suck that air out. They do make something called a direct vent centrifugal force fan. Mouthful. But if you were to set that up every single time that stove clicked on, or every single time, yeah, like the above light on the oven kicked on, every single time that light goes on, not only does it kick on the fan automatically there, but it also kicks on maybe another fan. Yeah, I'm going to share that. I own a building that has a nail salon in it. I do. I don't talk a lot about my commercial property because I don't love it. And I know a lot of people don't buy commercial property, but I buy commercial property. Not usually. It's usually mixed use. Yeah. It's like getting a 12-ounce filet, butterfly cut medium well, but then they insist on bringing the broccoli. So, yeah. But in those places, we actually ducted. So we ducted what's called a centrifugal force fan, which basically we put the ductwork on one side, vent it outside. We duct it into the centrifugal force fan. And what it does is it actually sucks the air through. And so when sucking that air through, it will replace the air 6 times in the space so you don't get high off the fumes. So that's becoming more and more and more the standard in a lot of these places. Malls, it's a little bit tough to get those types of fans in there. But in these standalone buildings, that's what I really like, is that I can put that stuff in there to optimize the experience for the tenant. So it's pretty cool. Yeah. Hider, I knew, listen, Hider, when you're out there in the field, after you've sprayed your boots and dare urine, after you're out there in the field, I'm not mocking you. I'm making fun of the situation. You just go bite a cow's ass. I want it cooked, man. I want it cooked. I want it cooked. All right, let's see. The common laws, the real law, the supreme law of the land, the code, rules, regulations, policy, and statutes are not the law. Self versus Ray case law. Hider. Make time. We're doing something this week. Rob, what's the price of the course? I just woke up. I have to stop the stream to go check on my phone. So check in the video. All the pricing is in there because we broke it down to 3 sections, but all the pricing is there in the video. Guys, look at the syllabus. Look at the syllabus. If that's valuable to you, there you go. If it's not, price doesn't matter. So look, I spent 16 minutes going through, or 14 minutes going through the syllabus. Jay Corey, my wife still has her job at 80K. Okay. Then I would, I would be looking at local banks. And I would be looking at, for 230, you might get approved at a local bank for a build. You might get approved for that. They might not let you be on the mortgage. You'd be on the deed. You could be on the deed, but they might not let you on the mortgage. Yeah. But yeah, if you've already got still 80K of income and you're looking at for something at 230, you can still possibly be approved. But yeah, Matt, the mortgage guy, he's got a nationwide network. I respect him immensely. I can't use him because I have more than 10 mortgages in my name. But yeah, Matt's the real deal. He's the real deal. Robert Farinelli, yes, 1950 hot water radiators, but still working. Love it. Yeah, so that's why. So I said $10,000. He said $11,000. Yes, you can spend $1,000 in. Again, if you're bringing in propane or something like that, you're gonna do your black iron pipe basically from the wall, because the heating companies will only go to the outside manifold. Inside, you got to bring in a plumber or a gas licensed plumber to then do all what's called your black iron piping. And black iron is the piping that's used to carry gas, whether it's propane or natural gas. Nicholas Massey, I got a rough estimate to build an ADU for 130K. Okay. I got the architectural and structural designs plus permit approved, 12K. Yep. Okay. It's about what I would have expected. New estimate is now 207 from a contractor for 640 square foot, 1 bedroom. I don't know what to do now. So because I don't know the area, it really comes down to the finances of it. If you can, because now with that permit approved, you've usually got a year, maybe 2 before you have to get reapproval. If new zoning is in, they can force you and basically say that you can't build again, for what that's worth. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I would run the numbers because if it is 207, so you're basically 207. I don't know why it would jump. How long ago was that? Yeah, because electrical has been stable for about a year. Electrical wiring, the panels, the breakers, yeah, all that stuff has been. The only thing, the major thing, and like siding's up a little bit, roofing's up a little bit, but lumber's way down. And that's a massive part of your cost is the lumber. So that doesn't make any sense to me. I'm not doubting you. It just doesn't make any sense why the number would go from 130 to 207. Doesn't make any sense to me. Rob, excuse me. I noticed someone says Vegas and Millennial Mike perks up. Yeah, he does. We've been talking about it for a while. Robert Farinelli, extra 1,000 per IBC for the gas piping, black iron piping. There you go. Ta-da. J. Corey Alexander, all. Yep. Yeah, I would definitely reach out to Matt, the mortgage guy, for sure. Clint LeClaire. Oh, you retracted a message. That's all right. You'll bring it in the next one. Yes, and medium well. Robert Farinelli. Oh, yeah. Jay Corey. Hyder is he's a funny man. He's a funny man. They just finished. Yeah, wow, it's already been an hour and a half. They've just finished their little open house they were having for some of my units. Showing went well, highly interested. Showings went well, highly interested. Cool. Robert Farinelli. Oh, and $800 for oil tank removal. Robert. Yeah, so that's what I would have guessed. Yep. That's what I would have guessed. LOL. All-nighter hider again. Yes. Paul Christian. I've installed many mini splits, mostly Fujitsu's and Daikin's. The install is critical to longevity. Paul Christian nailed it. Absolutely 1,000%. The major brands are all pretty darn good. Yep. Under 2.5 tons. They are too cheap to repair. Yep. 100%. When he says 2.5 tons, that's I believe you're probably referring to the amount of refrigeration, or the size of the space that it can actually cool, or be used in. And so 2.5 tons are smaller, unit heads. And so they do make them more replaceable. It's the bigger ones, the 3s to, the 5s and bigger. And you can correct me if I'm wrong in there, Paul. Not an expert like you. But I do know enough to be dangerous. Rob, okay, I'll check out the silly bus. Yes. You made the comment last week. You got to check out the silly bus. At J. Corey, I'm just joking. Yep. You owe your wife a thank you for every dollar she brings in. I'm single. Does it show? Yes. J. Corey Alexander, ever consider JVing with a more seasoned investor in your market, getting a minority share to borrow their credit bankability? Clint, that's a great idea. You can do that. The only thing that isn't usually acceptable is doing that on your own house. So I'm not sure if that's what you guys were talking about, or what you were talking about, Jay Corey, about doing it at your own house. But if it is for investment purposes, yeah, absolutely. You can do that. And then you just figure out what the value of that's worth, because what it does do is unless they're independently wealthy, it does put them in a position where then they can't use that credit utilization, and they may need to. But yeah, great idea, Clint. Yep. ADU in SoCal, I think contractor just trying to screw me, literally was 4 months later from there. Yeah, that just doesn't pass the smell test, Nicholas. It just doesn't pass the smell test. I would get it quoted by a couple of other people. At this point, you have plans. I would put it out to a couple of other people, and I would also look and see the ADUs in your area, who built them, who built those ADUs. You might be able to find that ADU person that just says, yeah, this is easier than we know it to be. They would never say easy to you, but they're thinking in their heads, yeah, like I could bang this thing out in like 60 days, tops. So that might help you. Millennial Mike, my boy Hyder suffers from a multitude of choice. Single because why restrict himself? He's a top G. That is the daily affirmation that I caught Mike doing every day when he was visiting. So that's kind of crazy. J. Corey, Clint LeClaire. Yes, I do have a family friend that does the same thing. He has offered to mentor me. Cool. Yeah, thanks for the insight. There's so much info to take in. Yes, there is so much info to take in. Jay Corey, now I get it. We like to have fun here, Jay, and never offend. Life jokes can get personal real quick. Yeah, Hyder, they can. If you make a joke around my wife and she doesn't like it, she might hit you. She's a Mrs. Lumberjack after all. So cool. We went the full 90 minutes today. We did that quick. This was a quick one. I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day. If you haven't checked out the video on the course already, check it out. The syllabus is in there. limited space in the boot camp. But that will be kicking off sometime in January. The boot camp, the course will be too. We're just working on getting a harder date. It's probably going to be the second half of January. But yeah, really excited about all that stuff happening. Excited about doing this with you guys. And yeah, I think it's going to be absolutely awesome. I think you guys are going to be, yes, 2 tons equals 24,000 BTUs. Yep. Okay, cool. Yes. Thank you, Paul. So 24,000 BTUs, if you guys think about it, with you look at what your space needs to heat, or AC, that will, most of the times you're looking at, a lot of times you can get a 1-head system, but it might be a 2-ton 1-head system. And like Paul was saying, those are largely interchangeable or exchanging. So changing them out. We have Daikin's here and I love them. So guys, thanks you very much for your time. It was a pleasure hanging out with you. Check out the course. Excited to do that with you guys. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Have a blast. And yeah, just have an absolutely fantastic week. Next week, I'll come prepared to talk about my new deal. Just all the numbers, take you guys right through it. Yeah, I mean, I heard there was no deals on the MLS. Bummer. Should probably call that agent back and say, I can't take the deal. It's too good. I'm just going to keep putting the link in there every time the course is mentioned. I know it's a lot. Yeah. Wanted to make sure I knew that this was follow-up today. So sorry for you guys if you had to hear about the course too much. As you guys know, it's brand new, just came out yesterday. And so moving forward, yeah, I want to be able to direct you guys to where you can find that information because some of it is lengthy and involved, but I appreciate you guys. You guys all have a fantastic week. Super excited to get started in the course and you guys have an absolutely awesome week. Thanks again, guys. Take care.